So hi Silver, welcome back.
Thank you, Bubblebox. Good to be back.
Okay, so today we're going to be having a look at the British deck. We're going to start off with before we play a game, start off with the logistics. So I'll start off this time because you started off with the Americans last time. And with
Be
the
my
British
guest.
deck, I've got the ubiquitous fob. I'm assuming you got one of them, have you?
I mean, who doesn't put a fob in the deck these days,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
don't want it, just delete it at the start.
Yeah, and then for commands, I've got two commands. I've got the FV511 Warrior. Now, before you shout at me saying why are you spending so much money on a armoured truck, well, it's because basically it's a prototype and it's a good-looking vehicle. That's the only reason, not because it's the best, because it's a good-looking vehicle
Well,
and it's a prototype.
it's a well, not really a prototype. It's the FV1511.
Oh, it's not. You're right. Yes. Oh, my apologies. Yeah.
Yeah, but it has a very good autocannon. I mean, these things can definitely defend themselves against like a hidden infantry trying to sneak over to take out a command vehicle. This thing's just like, what are you doing there?
Yeah, so you don't have to stick some AA infantry next to it or anything. If it's in the middle of a forest, it can take down any helicopters that passed overhead looking for a
Easily,
command.
yeah.
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
see that. I
Yeah.
got the AT-105C because, I mean, just look at this thing. This thing just looks like a bunch of armored plates that are just strapped together and called a truck.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
hilarious.
If you put the Warrior next to this thing, just tell me which looks the best. You know, this thing looks awful.
I know. That's why I got it. It's just so funny looking.
Okay, well, yeah,
Well,
yeah. Machine gun, not that useful, but yeah.
Yeah, but machine guns, like, it can shoot, but yeah.
I'm definitely going to spend 20 more points and get the Warriors in.
Yeah. I got two of the supply Chinooks as my supply.
Ah, oh, hold on a minute. I've got another HQ section in Lynxes as well. I've got another command. Is that the only command you've got? The
Yeah, I only have that five.
18... Oh, you get 5 of them. How many warriors do I get? Oh, I get 5 warriors. But I've got the HQ section in Lynx AH7s. I get them because I like the Lynx AH7. I figured if I'm going to get infantry out early on, I can get an AH7 with it and it can sort of fly around doing some damage somewhere.
Right.
But
Okay.
yeah.
I'm actually considering getting the warrior next, but I'm going to stick with these things now because it's just funny looking.
Yeah, so what support have you got then? What's logistics?
I just
Sorry?
got 2 stacks of the Chinooks because, I mean, they're really good supply. Just bring them in the pinch. I mean,
Yeah.
the stalwarts are pretty much crap. I mean, that's
They
little
are.
supply.
However, I have got them, and I'll tell you why. I've got some Chinooks. I've got a set of Chinooks. Basically, so they're fast. You know, get them in, get fueled up, get them back to the fob and stuff like that. Now, I've got some stalwarts as well. The only reason I got them really is because they're amphibious, and if you've got some units stuck somewhere, you can put these across the water maybe, and also you can put them over. Sometimes I even put anti-air units on the sea to protect my ships, and these can actually refuel them. Resupply them.
Right.
So yeah, I know they look really bad and they're not very fast, but I wanted some supply trucks, so these are the only ones you can get pretty much. So I got these. Yeah.
Right. I use LCU for resupplying stuff that might be there, but I can
know.
see.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, infantry wise, yes, got to have these, haven't you? You know what they are. It's the SAS in Lynx.
Oh yeah, I've got the SAS as well.
In Lynx.
In Pumas, HC1.
Ah, okay, yeah, yeah. Cool. I've got the Lynx again, the AH7s. I normally bring SAS out near the beginning of a game just to get them into position, and then I've got the Lynx AH7s to fly around with their rocket pods doing damage where they can, as with the command infantry. So yeah, I've just got one set of them.
I just got the Puma HC1s because they're slightly cheaper
Yeah.
and stuff. They're meant to just drop off the SAS and get out.
Yeah, so the SAS, good at anti-air, of course, got stingers, but good
They're-
all-rounders, really.
Their main weakness would be infantry, and I'm not saying they're weak against infantry because, I mean, they've got very good primary weapon, but they don't have a light machine gun.
Yeah, they don't, but like I say, they do seem to somehow hold up against normal rifle infantry, though. If they come up
Right.
against special forces, they get slaughtered, but yeah,
Right,
against
so
normal, yeah.
So I'm countering their special forces with special forces of my own. I've got 3 Royal Marine stacks with
Ah,
Lynx
yeah.
AH7. And I'm just like, yeah, this is how I'm going to hold off any special forces infantry. These are
Okay,
going to
yeah.
these are to support the SAS.
Yeah, the Royal Marines, they're fantastic, aren't they? Do you get? Oh no, they're on strength of 10. I thought they were strength of 15, but they're actually a strength of 10. But they are they're elite. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, they're going to be awesome
Yeah,
in
they're
close
they're
combat.
elite, and I don't think British actually have any 10 strengths units.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, they don't have any 10 strengths, 15 strengths units. They're all 10
yeah.
strengths.
I mean, as far as my riflemen are concerned, like my basic infantry, I haven't got any more like special forces. I've gone really cheap. I've got Fusiliers, 10 points in Saxons, and can you believe it? I've gone Territorials in Saracens. Yeah, I know. Don't shout at me, but it's just for the numbers. Basically, for my British deck, I generally take ground and try to hold ground, wait for the tanks to arrive, and then push forward with the tanks.
The only problem I have with the Territorials is that their truck is worth twice the amount of the vehicle themselves.
I know, but you can bring these in the bucket load and not worry about them too much. You know, they're so cheap.
Yeah. But I mean, like, in militia, I would only consider it if the truck was the same price, and then you could bring out them a lot better, a lot faster, but whatever.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, and the Fusiliers, just to fill, you know, just to fill the place, really, with fill up any buildings. Yeah,
right, so it seems like I'm the expensive infantry, and you're the go die for the king, please.
Yeah, just like the Americans and the British, we do all the we've got all the cheap crap, and you've got all the expensive stuff. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so as well as the SAS, I've also got some javelins. Have you got any AA infantry?
SAS.
Apart from the SAS, have you got anything else?
No.
I've got some lad javelins in Saxons anyway, just for a bit of extra AA if we need it later on in the games.
Right. I got the SAS, 20 of them, so I'm just like, I'm covered on AA.
Ah, you got plenty of them. Yeah, I could have got more of them, I suppose, but yeah, I went for javelins. I don't know why, I just did. And then, anti-tank, I got the Milan 2s in Lynx AH7s.
I've just got to hope that the tank kind of runs right through the village for my anti-tank for infantry.
Yeah, I got them anyway. Milan TF2s, they're pretty decent. So should we move on? Have a look at the support.
All right, support.
First of all, artillery-wise, I've got the AS90s. Probably
Me too.
One of the best British ones anyway. Not the best.
They're very good artillery tank for their price.
Yeah, and they've got 39 rounds, so they can start off firing without a fob and stuff. So you don't have to put them right next to a fob or anything. So
right.
Yeah, pretty decent anyway. They've got a main gun which you don't use, but the actual artillery barrel thing is pretty awesome, and it looks quite good as well. Actually, it looks pretty good, decent.
Yeah, that's what I think. It looks pretty awesome.
I've got some mortars as well. These FV432 things I've got, but you get 10 of them, which is quite a lot.
Right. They're very good spam. They're just like, I want a heavy mortar in area.
Yeah, or sometimes with my British deck, I use smoke because you gotta, you know, to get into the buildings, get my really terrible infantry close up into the buildings. Right. I can use smoke and just rush a load of those really cheap territorials in, and then yeah.
Just don't forget the artillery also drops smoke as well, but yeah.
Yeah, but these things can drop a lot, you know, all at once, really quickly.
So so they're just pretty much a smoke out unit.
Yeah. Then I've got no more artillery. Have you got any more artillery?
I have the M270 MLRS because these things shoot 11 HE power rockets in an area.
Okay.
It's just like...
Yeah.
This is just, I want to do high amounts of explosive damage in this area, stun, panic, anything in that area before marching in.
Yeah, cool. AA-wise, I've got a bit unusual here. I don't know what you think of this. I've got 2 sets of tracked rapiers, and I haven't got any tracked rapier FSAs because I don't like having the radar ones in my British decks. What do you think about that?
I think that's perfectly fine. In fact, the radar actually has shorter helicopter range than the regular tracked rapiers, and I think that tracked rapiers themselves are just anti-helicopter things.
Yeah, and they're 40 points, not too expensive either.
Right. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, and then I've got the Stormers. Got the Stormers, of course.
I mean, you have to have the Stormer.
Yeah, good against everything, pretty much. Well, good against just about, everything, apart from infantry, really.
It's pretty much like the added. I mean, I remember my Commonwealth deck. I'm just like, why would I get a Stormer over the added? Oh, nationality.
Yeah, they're amphibious to boot as well. They can go across the water as well. So
I think the adjuts can too, but we'll get that when we get the cover the Canadians.
yep. So that's it for my support. You got anything else?
I've got the Challenger Marksmen.
Ah, yes, we need to talk about them, definitely. Yeah, I did think about dropping one of my track rapiers and getting those, but because you can push them forward with your tanks.
Yeah, and actually they can take out infantry decently because most infantry's anti-tank weapons won't penetrate the front unless they're really expensive infantry.
Yeah, they can. You're right. I mean, I was tempted, but I'm going to leave. I'm going to go with my track rapiers. I'll go with what I put down first. I think I won't switch them over. I'll leave it as it is at the moment. But
Right.
yeah, they're
And
definitely
then
good.
finally, I've got some Falcons to wrap up because they're very good, cheap anti-helicopter guns.
Yeah. Right, should we move on to the big boys, the tanks?
Yep. I'm just going to say, in terms of point-wise, the British are definitely more cost-effective in terms of points with their tanks than the American counterparts.
Yeah, and you know what? I've gone pretty much high grade on the tanks. I've gone
Me too.
everything veteran elites on my tanks, my British deck.
Oh.
'Cause I've got a Challenger, one Challenger 2, which I have to look after if I bring it out because I've only got one.
I've got two Challenger 2s, so
Yeah.
I can afford to lose one at the same time. You can't really afford to lose these because
Yeah.
of how many points they are.
I've got two Challenger 1 Mark 3s, both hardened.
Alright, I skipped those.
Two Challenger 1 Mark 2s, four Challenger 1 Mark 2s hardened as well,
Alright.
and five Challenger 1 Mark 1s. So I've got some really nice tanks. I just have to be able to look after them, basically. And then I've got a
Right.
bunch of cheap chieftains as well in case I need some sort of medium tank. This is a bit cheaper.
Right. I got the Challenger 2. I got the Challenger 1 Mark 1. I've got two sets of those. And then I got two sets of the Chieftain Mark 11s because those are my lighter tank to bring in.
Yeah, so that's it really. I'm pretty well tanked up in this deck. So move on to the recon.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, British have got some nice recon, I think. I've got the Gazelles. They are expensive, but they're exceptional. They move fast.
Right. I prefer the non-rocket pods because, I mean, 12 rocket pods, you don't want your Gazelle to get that close. And when they see that, they're just like, I know how to get 75 free points.
Yeah, I haven't got those either. I've just got the basic AH1 as well. Yeah, same. I've got these things, the ferrets. I don't know what you think about them.
I've got those ferrets too.
You have, right. I like their swing fires missiles. They're just
stick this-
really good.
Stick these in the tree with a bunch of tanks, and like, for example, on the, what is it, gunboat diplomacy, that tree area across the river.
Yeah.
I mean, you could lock down those road areas easily with one of these and a couple of tanks.
Yeah, 22 AP power. Pretty decent for a recon unit.
Yep.
And then I've got some special boat squads for their speed on the ground, really. They're coming lynxes.
Me too.
Maybe try and get them behind enemy lines, moving along into their base or something.
I've got SBS as well with the Puma HC-1s, and they're also to support the SAS. So
Yeah.
the SAS and SBS fighting side by side with the Royal Marines.
Yeah, and then I've got the green jackets as well. The green jackets just in little pin scours just to provide some more recon around the board at the
Right.
front line wherever I need it.
Yeah, I just prefer squads of 10 than squads of 5 because, I mean, they last longer.
True. Anything else in recon?
Nope, that's it.
Vehicles then. Now vehicles are quite restricted in the British deck, I think. What do you reckon?
Yeah. I got two sets of hardened strikers for anti-tank.
Yeah, I've got exactly the same. Two sets of strikers, and I've got a set of rover Melans as well.
Yeah, this deck is pretty much good against tank decks. This will wreck tank decks
Yeah,
with
and
the ferrets and strikers.
the rover Melans aren't too bad because they're only 20 points. I mean, they're so cheap with an AP power of 17, so they're not too bad.
Right. The Rover Wombat, I think, would be a very interesting unit if you were playing like a 1980s or something deck because, yeah, the recoilless rifle is actually one of the better recoilless rifles.
Oh
out
yeah,
there.
and I remember you play. Did you play these in one game we played? They did quite well, if I remember rightly.
No, I've never used the Rover Wombat.
You know? Oh, okay, maybe it was a different one.
It might have been my friend, though.
So you never went for the Centurion Avars then?
I did with the Centurion
Yeah, I thought
Avars.
you might,
Oh,
yeah.
I love these things. 8 HE power. Yeah. I remember one of these ran out of gas just before it got to a tree line, and I'm like, damn it. And the enemy was all in that tree line. but every time the enemy poked their heads out, they would just get destroyed by this one Centurion Avery tank. They could not take care of it. I don't know why.
Yeah, they are good when they're in the right position, but they are really, really slow, and the autonomy isn't good. But yeah.
Right. But it's
Yeah.
just like the enemy had, I think the enemy had a bunch of infantry they hella dropped in that forest, and I was trying to clear it out, but it was far enough away that they needed to get closer to get the anti-tank, and the high explosive power of 8 just wrecked all infantry that would step out.
Yeah. Helis. Oh, sorry. Have you got any more vehicles there?
Yes, I've got the
right.
FV432 Raritan, 24 of them.
Oh, okay.
They're pretty much like the Lav, except
Yeah.
I can spam them.
The
They're
autocannon.
they're half the price of the Lav, so yeah, I can just bring these in mass.
Yeah, pretty decent. Pretty decent for the price, anyway. On to the helicopters.
Yep.
Now, I was a bit disappointed about the choice of helicopters for the British. I'm sure they've got a better choice than this in reality.
Yeah, I would think so too.
I mean, no Apaches for the British. Come on, what's going on? Anyway,
well, there are American tank helicopters.
I know, but we've got a whole load of them. I think we must have bought them off you at some point in the past.
Probably.
But yeah, Lynx 3s, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why would you not get Lynx 3?
Those Hellfire missiles again, and Stingers as well. I mean, what more can you ask for in a helicopter?
Right.
And then,
Yeah, go ahead.
And then I've got Lynx. I've got some Lynx AH7 20mm.
Oh yeah, I've got 2 sets of those as well. Just max those out.
Yeah, they're good for end game, looking for CVs, mid game, start of the game. They can do most things. They're fairly flexible, and they're only 35 points.
Right.
And then I've got some Lynx, just for anti-tank cover, I've got some Lynx AH7 TOW 2s.
Right, but the Lynx 3 also covers that, so
that's
why.
true. That's true. But I find that people, if they see those Lynx 3s, they really hunt them. And you only got 2.
They do.
They do, yeah. So that's all. That's all.
I actually have 4. I've got 4 Lynx 3s.
Ah, right. So you might take them by surprise. They'll shoot 2 down, and they'll think they're all right, and then you'll have another 2. So yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Any more choppers? Is that it? I think
that's it
for me. Yeah. Aircraft then. I'll let you run with the aircraft because you seem to know. Have you got many aircraft on your Brit deck?
Well, the thing is that when I was making this deck, I realized that I was kind of light on the anti-air for aircraft. Reason being is that, yeah, I have a decent amount of anti-air, but that's all more focused against helicopters.
Yeah.
No hard anti-air. So for airplanes, unless they fly a bomber right over my SAS, but I mean, who does that?
So what have you gone for? Eurofighters?
Well, yes, 2 of the Eurofighter Typhoons, because, I mean, if I'm going to go anti-air, I might as well bring it all out.
Yeah.
And then I've got the Tornado F3s as well, because they actually have longer range. Longer range than those Typhoons.
And again, I think they look really good, those Tornadoes. They look fantastic.
Yep.
The Eurofighters look good as well, but the Tornadoes just look, for me, they look the best.
Yeah, so I've just gone complete air superiority for my aircraft. That's all my aircraft right there.
Well, I haven't got any air superiority fighters at all, do I ever have. I've got a couple of bombers. I've got the Tornado GR1s for clusters against tanks and stuff. Pretty fast.
Right.
ECM 30%. They're pretty decent.
Yeah, that's
not
decent.
too bad. Yeah, and then I've got Harrier GR5s. I was a bit iffy about getting these. These are just bombers. I wouldn't bring these in unless I absolutely know it's pretty clear of anti-air. Even though they've got an ECM of 40%, they're quite slow, 750 Ks, so they're going to be vulnerable to people bringing out.
They're still cheap.
Yeah, they're not over expensive. They've got 500 kilogram bombs, and if there's an area where I don't think there's any AA with infantry in, I can just bring these things out and bomb it to hell, basically. That's it. That's my reasoning. Naval-wise. Now, naval-wise, I haven't gone heavy on Navy, basically. I've got Super Hornets and ASUWs. Basically, yeah. And then I've got LCUs for resupply, whether it's ground units or other people's ships, because I haven't got any ships. And then I've got Gurkha 90s and Lad Javelins for landings. And that's it. Right. What have you got there?
I just went, it's a standard kind of Navy deck. I got the Congo for, ship warfare, some Oliver Hazard Perrys, Lafayette's, and I went with the F-11 1G aircraft because, I mean, since it's a British deck, might as well bring sort of the Commonwealth British plane. I don't know if this is a British plane or not, but I believe this is like,
Yeah.
it has like a Commonwealth symbol or something like that. I think it
Yeah.
actually might be Anzac, but
Yeah, I think it might be an Australian plane or something like that, actually. I'm not sure.
yeah, but it's just not close enough. Might as well put this in for that reason.
Yeah, I mean,
And, and then finally the LCUs to top it up.
Yeah, I mean, I've basically gone, this deck is a land-based deck, so I've gone for a infantry landing party, if I can do it, and then just the anti-ship planes just to support anyone else on the sea. That's it. That's all I've gone for on that one, really. I've not gone on the ships at all.
That's kind of reliant on hoping your ally has enough ships to secure the water.
Yeah, true. Okay, so Silver, what do you reckon is the best unit in the British deck?
In my British deck, I would have to say the Lynx 3.
The Lynx 3, yeah, pretty decent unit. Do you know what I'm going to go for? I'm going for the good old SAS.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah,
those are pretty good.
Who doesn't have the SAS when they do a British unit? They're not the best unit probably in the game, but everyone has them in their British deck. Everyone. I considered others. I considered the Challenger 2, but it's a bit meatier. It's just not everyone gets that. It's a bit expensive. Yeah, so I went for the SAS, but yeah, the Lynx 3 is definitely a top chopper as well in the British deck.
Yep, definitely.
So you're up for playing a couple of games with these decks now, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks very much.